this is Aubrey from the So Wizard Podcast, and you're listening to the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my heroes when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people. Right. You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one.
Quarter pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey everyone, you are listening to Superhero Speak. And I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
And JD.
John, you seem disgruntled tonight.
It's 9 p.m. I have to get up at 5. You want to schedule it this late? You got Grumpy John. You got to deal with Grumpy John.
That's on me. That's my fault.
Well, I don't have to get up at all right now, so.
JD, that may be, but yet it is still somehow Dave's fault.
Yes. Sure.
Don't you have to warm that up to get a yes out of you? What are you doing?
I'm off. Just got out of practice. I'm sweaty.
Yeah, and the heat up here doesn't help any.
It's 90 out here too, man. It sucks.
It's not that bad here, but we're in this weird cycle of it gets really hot, then we get like storms and tornado warnings, and then it cools off for just a few days, and then we're back to hot again.
Yep. Isn't it wonderful?
That's sure, Dave. What you said. You're the boss.
There's nothing like humidity. So JD, since you're the reason we're recording late tonight. What have you been up to?
I'm at a training camp right now in the beautiful University of Illinois campus. It's not that beautiful, actually. It's not attractive at all. But I'm working a wrestling camp, and we're leaving for the big national tournament on Thursday, where I'm going to spend a week in Fargo, North Dakota, where it's hot, flat, no wind, and I'm going to be in an indoor football field for 8 straight days.
Woohoo! Oh,
wow.
Did I mention I'm not getting paid?
No, you didn't.
This is my vacation every year. And I make it sound terrible, but I actually love it. It's the best.
Things I wouldn't do for $1 million, Alex.
Not get paid? That's what we're doing this podcast.
Yes. I'm already doing that. Yeah. How about you, John? What's new with you?
I went and binge watched the same thing everybody else did last weekend. And I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm only 2 episodes in. See, I'm only 2. Oh, okay. Because I think this third season or second season set up a really good third season to come. So.
What are we talking about? I thought we were talking about Stranger Things. What did you binge watch this weekend?
Well, The Tick season 2. What else would you watch?
John, The Tick
Stranger Things.
The Tick is canceled. There is no season 3.
No. Why did you tell me that? Everything was roses and puppies a second ago. Now it all sucks.
I'll take news from last year for 200, Alex.
Next thing you know, you'll tell me that all the Marvel stuff is canceled on Netflix.
All right.
Once again, John doesn't pay attention to the show.
No. Not even when he's won it.
That's because I'm talking on it. Why would I want to listen to myself?
That is a good question.
I knew we'd find common ground.
JD, you said you have been watching it. I assume you're joking, John, and you did watch Stranger Things.
No, I actually didn't. I actually binge watched all of The Tick season 2.
Oh, okay. So for somebody who has never watched Stranger Things, what do you think so far, JD?
I'm only 2 episodes in. I like where it's going so far, but it came up this week, and I'm trying to work and coach at the same time, and just haven't had a lot of time to entertain myself. So I'll have to catch it when I get back home the week after next.
Yeah. All right.
But I like it so far, so good.
I figure I'll binge it this weekend when I go to see my nephews, and it'll be nice. I can just throw it on, throw the 5-year-old in front of it. Should be good. That'll work.
There you go.
Busy.
My cousin did that to me when I was 3, and she sat me down and let me watch Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. That's the one where the bugs come out of the masks and eat the kids' eat the faces. Yeah. Oh my God, I was my own son's age. That's horrifying in retrospect.
Yeah. Not good babysitting by your cousin there.
Oh, did explain a lot though.
Yes.
It does. Dave, how'd you do?
Well, let's see. I'm still unemployed.
I know, we're working on that.
I went to a couple family barbecues because wherever I can get free food, I will. At this point.
Good plan.
Yep.
Sadly, I did have to go to a funeral on Friday. It was my great aunt, and she was 94. So, and she actually had died a month ago, but was living in Colorado with her one daughter. So they had a funeral out there, and then she was cremated. They brought her out here because she's being buried out here because this is where she's from. So,
wow.
So yeah, but no, it was sad, but I got to see some family I haven't seen in a while, and the luncheon I got some free food. So, so if either of you want to have a barbecue and invite me this week, I'd appreciate it.
I'm busy.
I'm going to be in Connecticut, so.
I'm going to Connecticut for free food.
It's a family get together. I don't even want to be there. Trust me, you don't want to be there.
Maybe. We'll see. So that's enough about my madness. Why don't we talk a little bit about social media madness? We talked about the return of Marvel Zombies, and it's actually got more responses than I thought it was going to. China Comics said, "Fun first series, second was good. After that, please stop. Stop now. No mas."
Aww.
I only read the first one, so I have no idea. It did good. I know once they started going overboard with it. 8-Bit Ray said, and the original run was fine. The sequel was meh, and then it went into total what the F are thereafter. Some things are better left dead. And might I add that saw DC making bank off of it, and Walking Dead is ending. Coincidence? And,
yes, I think so.
And Purple Tree said, "No, zombies are played." Are they really played?
We're talking about Deceased, right? I mean,
yeah.
So far, it looks really, really good, and it's not. I don't know. They're not doing it as just a zombie story, and it's very limited anyway. What is it like? 6 issues, I think it's going to be total. It's more. This is more like one of those natural disaster movies where you're just going there for the disaster porn. The zombie thing's kind of just ancillary to that.
I mean, I liked it the first time when they called it Darkest Night, but that's another story.
Similar.
And Uncle Redbeard said, "I love the Marvel Zombies. Just not sure it's something everyone will get fired up about. I'm worried, though, how Marvel is planning to ruin it."
Possible.
Gotta love those Marvel fans.
Are the comics not? Is this like a DC thing with the cartoons being good and the animations being good, but the movies sucking? Is like Marvel Comics is bad, but the DC or the MCU is the best part of it? Or
I've heard that argument.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel comics, I think, are hit or miss at this point. Mostly miss. I think the last, I could be wrong. I think the last really good thing they did was Superior Spider-Man, because now we have Cosmic Ghost Rider searching the galaxy for baby Thanos.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Really? What did they start hiring writers from DC? I don't. Yeah, okay.
I haven't read a Marvel book in a while. I can't comment. I just lost interest a while ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're the Marvel guys. All right.
And the other thing, so we had also talked about Zoe Saldana wanting to explore the dark side of Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I thought would have gotten more response. But we didn't get much. We got Purple Tree saying, yes, things are different now. Right? Because, it's not the same Gamora, so they have the opportunity to actually do it. But yeah, I guess people don't care about Gamora. Maybe they're still mourning Tony.
I care about it. I mean, but the whole thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, it's an ensemble, right? So you care about her in the context of how Star-Lord's feeling about her not being her anymore and her relationship with her sister.
Yeah.
It's so, but it does make a difference because people care about that show.
True. It's true. I think it'll make a good plot point for the next movie, and it'll get people excited again, I think. All right, so moving on, we also had talked about Paul Rudd is officially in the Ghostbusters movie. Total Games and Films had said, I think he's an excellent addition to the cast, and I hope he's the son of Egon and Janine. Because of Harold passing, his genius son could step in.
Man, I can't express how much I hate that idea.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not at all. No. I hope that doesn't happen. God, if you're listening, please don't let that happen.
Okay. And Mark Anthony had said, I want it to do well, but this movie is just going to be a waste of time. To which I asked...
There's that positive internet spirit we all talk about.
Uh-huh.
And I said, why do you feel that way? To which he replied, reboot, sequel, old premises, they are never good. So
I thought he was like doing a riff of We Didn't Start the Fire version.
Reboot, sequel, old premises.
I can't take it anymore. We didn't start the fire.
Perfect. Yes. So some people are excited and coming up with crazy ideas for his character, and other people aren't excited. Very interesting. And finally, we had talked about our favorite topic of the evening, which was the Gremlins returning in a prequel cartoon. And
still, that just no.
This response starts off good, and then I'm like, what is she talking about? So Jennifer Anderson said, Gizmo is the best thing that happened to the 80s, and it filled out the obvious lack of cute as half furry things in the funny, cute horror fantasy genre. All right? So, okay, cool. Like, I'm following you. Same thing goes for Thackeray Binks, like a decade later, and Salem after that. Too bad none of them had a Gizmo. What? Do you guys know what either of those things are?
Nope. Is Salem the cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh, maybe. But what's...
That's all I can come up with. Not a clue. John?
Say it again, because I don't know.
Thackeray Binks.
Binks. B-I-N-S.
Yeah, B-I-N-S. Thackeray. Like Thackery. Thackeray Binks.
I have no idea. It sounds familiar, but...
Alright,
well, if JD doesn't know, nobody's gonna know.
And I know a lot of stupid stuff, and I got nothing for this one. I thought it might be an anime thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just looked it up, but...
Go on.
That was the main character in, the Hocus Pocus.
Oh.
The boy.
Yeah. I was a boy in the 90s, so I didn't watch that movie.
Yeah, that's okay. It was Thackeray Binks. Nobody wanted to watch it.
Wait.
My sister loved that movie. She loved Hocus Pocus. I walked out of the room every
Hocus Pocus has a huge following. Are you kidding me?
You were a boy in the 90s. What were you in the 80s?
I was. Also a boy.
Oh, okay.
I'm still a boy, so you know.
Oh, okay.
I'm a boy. It's been a long day.
I'm wrong. It's not the main character. It's, I guess, the boy that was in. It was like the dead boy, I guess.
Well, I'm just a girl. So anyway,
look at
Dave. We're not supposed to say that out loud.
So speaking of social media, don't forget to check out on all of the social media platforms the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network, which features our pals Pop Prism Power Podcast, Fans on Patrol, So Wizard, Cult 45, and the Gorilla Brain Podcast, including ourselves. So, I wrote them down this time, guys. And don't forget to listen to us on our new favorite pod listening app, which is Podcoin. And you can get it on the App Store or Google Play. And it is the only app, it's the only podcast app that pays you to listen. So for every podcast you listen to, you get Podcoins. And after you get so many, you can trade them in for gifts like gift certificates to Starbucks and Target or Amazon, or you can turn them in for charity, give them towards charity, if you're a good person. Me, I'm still waiting to get a Starbucks gift card. So check them out today. That's Podcoin. And then when you sign up, use our code HeroSpeak to get 300 Podcoins on us. So check it out today. All right. And boys and girls, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And we're back. All right, before we get to the main topic of the evening that I know you guys are chomping at the bit to talk about, we got a little bit of news I wanted to cover. I'll start with DC. And Todd Phillips recently was talking about his Joker movie that's coming out shortly, and he had said that it will not follow the comics at all.
Oh, great.
How do we feel about this, guys?
I mean, are we surprised? I think that this was pretty obvious from the get-go.
Yeah.
But again, then why make it a Joker movie? Why not just make it a character piece about a psycho who wears clown makeup?
Because then it's a Joker movie. I mean, it's like you can't make an evil clown movie like a crime evil clown movie, and it'll just be a Joker movie.
They could have done The Comedian.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't bring in much money. This is like Venom. This is like Venom. Like, you know, they're going full bore on this with probably a half-baked story just for the name recognition to grab some money.
Oh, yeah. I don't think
there was a time I would have gotten really upset about this and been like, you know what, they have such great source material, why can't they follow source material? But we've had a decade plus of movies really staying true to comics. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they want to do something different than what's being done, I think I'm okay with at this point. Because I still don't think we've seen a true interpretation of the Joker yet. Like, I don't think we've seen that great Joker. Like, I love Heath Ledger, but he was a different kind of character than Joker comics. I'm okay with this because I thought, as I've been saying, I told it earlier, well, it's a black label movie.
Yeah.
You know? So I didn't expect this to be like the definitive Joker. I thought this was just going to be something different. So in this case, I think I'm okay. And if they give us a good movie that might not be true to continuity, I'm okay with it because there's so much else we have right now that lives and breathes the medium.
And I have to say, remember we did talk about the trailer before. I mean, the trailer was interesting.
Yeah, it could be a good movie, but it's just not going to be. It could be, but it's just not going to be. It won't be Batman's Joker, which is fine because it can't be Batman's Joker without Batman. So let's see. Let's see how it works. If it sucks, I'll be the first to go, okay, I was wrong, it sucks.
It worked for Venom.
I think Todd Phillips and Martin Scorsese had a little more clout than I can't even think of who made Venom.
True. And you know what? I just to mention, I watched Venom like 2 weekends ago. It was free on demand. And yeah, it was okay. You know, it was good to have on the background while I was like, you know, browsing the web and writing up some stuff. But you know, it was entertaining.
Cool. Hey, would you guys, speaking of the Joker and Batman, would you guys like to have like a Batman glider and fly over Gotham City? Or
have you seen all the blimps over Gotham City? My God, you run into them in no time.
Yeah, you explode, and it's like cover a Zeppelin.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about drive?
That might be worth it, though.
How about drive around in the Batmobile and chase down one of Batman's villains?
God, no. He's a professional.
Well, for those who'd be interested in doing that, this year at San Diego Comic-Con, Warner Brothers will be having a Batman experience at their booth. It's a VR experience.
Kill your parents right in front of you.
It took like
Did you just go there?
Oh man, it's just washing over the palate now. There's just so many flavors to that. Oh God!
I guarantee this experience will turn you into a vigilante.
Well, at the very least, it would make you forget that they're not doing anything Wonder Woman in Hall H.
And they'll make you forget how much you paid for the damn ticket.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, nothing will let you forget that.
Wow. You guys. See, but then you want revenge on Warner Brothers. You wouldn't really want justice.
Yeah, people already want revenge on
we can't get you.
They have nothing to lose.
Every time people
we are missing all of that, man.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Warner Brothers heard you, and they're now intercepting communique.
Oh, that? Stand by.
Somebody's browsing porn in your house. And
no, he's in the dorm. There's a bunch of teenage boys who are all browsing porn.
They're all browsing.
I'm the headsets. I don't know this thing.
No, it's your internet connection.
For podcast.
There you go.
Connection.
All right, you're there now. All right. So what were you saying?
Okay. I don't even remember. I made a stupid joke.
Oh, okay. All right. And then
we'll just say it was epic and continue.
Okay. It was an epic joke. It was epic like the death of Batman's parents.
Ooh.
Which you too can experience at the Warner booth.
My only thing is, I hope they're going to do it also in New York this year, so I can experience it. But, we'll see. And then finally, Marvel, who was absent at San Diego last year, has announced they will be doing a panel. It is like the main panel that's going to be in Hall H. It's an hour and a half long, and they have not announced anything that they'll be talking about at the panel.
We're getting the Phase 4 announcements, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, that's my guess, too. And
I was hoping for open mic night, but okay.
What would a Marvel open mic night be like?
Probably mostly Deadpool impressions.
So, all I'm saying is we should keep our eyes on San Diego news this year because I think Marvel's going to announce a lot of big stuff.
That should be interesting.
And I think some of that stuff may have been hinted in a movie that we all recently saw.
What would that be?
Venom?
No,
wait, that future's too bleak.
Spider-Man Far From Home. So here we go, guys. Here's the main topic.
Okay.
We're now going to review Marvel's Spider-Man Far From Home.
It was great. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Goodbye.
Real quick, by the numbers.
I got a lot of problems with the movie. Let's go.
Okay. By the numbers,
this is why I wanted you here.
The budget was $160 million. They made $580 million on their opening weekend. And the Rotten Tomatoes score, the critics' response was 91%, and the audience score was 96%. So
it's about right.
It seems like a lot of people liked the movie. Okay, let's do our normal real quick. We will go around, give our initial response, and non-spoiler, and then we'll get into spoiler. So, JD, you seem like you have a lot to say. So, what was your initial response?
No, I'm totally lying. I love it.
Damn it.
That is great. This is the continuation of John Hughes superhero movies. It is really enjoyable. Spoiler free. We'll get into it when we talk about spoilers. It's so hard to do the spoiler-free thing.
Okay. Yeah, there's not much you can say about this without spoilers.
All right, John. Well, real quick.
Okay, real quick. I loved it. Go see it. I mean, it's a worthy successor to Homecoming, and like Dave said, there's a couple of things it's setting up for Phase 4, which is really, really cool.
All right, I will say that I liked it. There's a couple little issues I had with it, but we'll get into that.
Oh, yes.
One issue I only really had one issue with the movie, and then somebody pointed out online a major issue with it. We'll discuss that in a minute. So on that note, though, we all really did enjoy the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, stop the podcast now and go out and see the movie. If you have seen it, strap in, because here we go. All right, guys. So let's start off with, okay, let's all go around. What was your favorite part of the movie? And we'll start with John.
Favorite part of the movie, gods. You know what? I'd say for once they got a relationship. I mean, not that Marvel has had problems with relationships, Thor, but I think the chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland was just damn cute.
Sorry about that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute. Yes. They're
it was
very
adorable. Come on.
It does feel very much like a high school crush type relationship, which I feel like they kind of tried to go with in the first Spider-Man movie with Kirsten Dunst and
Tobey Maguire. But
which
he was 30.
But they were both older, so it came off a little creepy. JD, what was your favorite part of the movie?
I like the Mysterio reveal, which is interesting because when they first revealed it, I hated it. And then after they went into it a little bit, it sold me, very, very quickly. And I like how steeped it was in the Marvel continuity. I thought it was a great interpretation of Mysterio.
Yeah. And they had you worried there for a bit, until they do that reveal. Because if you know anything about, hell, even I know Mysterio is a bad guy.
Right.
But you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, which was actually a very good plot device.
Yeah, it works really, really well. Because I like how they take elements from the comics and introduce them in these movies, and then kind of turn them. Because in the Spider-Man comics, the Mysterio in the 616 is the same as the Mysterio in the Ultimate Universe. It's the same guy. That Mysterio found a way to cross worlds. So the fact that they set that up, I'm like, oh, okay, they're going with this version of Mysterio. But then they totally spin it on its head, and it's a great reinterpretation of Quentin Beck, the special effects artist. And to incorporate it with Tony's holograph technology that we've seen in previous movies, and with former Stark employees that we've seen in bit parts, I thought it was great. I thought it was such a unique twist on a villain.
I agree with you. My son didn't like the fact that they tied it in with Tony Stark.
I think that had to plot device wise, because this movie has to the most important part of this movie is it answers the question of what do we do without Iron Man.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Dave, because you start to get into Star Wars-itis,
yes,
where it's like there's an entire galaxy, but everything revolves around 5 people. But there, this worked. So, there are times when they could force stuff like that, and I'm hoping that they don't in future movies. But this worked.
Yeah, and I felt the same way at first when they first revealed it. I was like, oh man, because that was basically my complaint about Iron Man 3, is that it's another guy with the company, it's another one of these, and I felt like that for maybe 30 seconds. And then when they went into everyone's quick backstory of why they were doing it, and when they tied it into the holograph technology, I was like, okay, because that makes perfect sense. So I was on board.
I think my favorite part of the movie was the fights with Mysterio and Spider-Man. That felt like the stuff from the comic books. It was really well done. It kept changing. Even what Peter was wearing changed, and he kept making him see things, and it was just yes, I think some people, like my wife, who are not initiated, were like, I was so confused what was going on, blah, blah, and it's like, no, that was what's cool about it. You're supposed to be confused.
And Spider-Man did have more wardrobe changes than like Lady Gaga at a concert.
Wow. I mean, let's be honest, it is to sell more Spider-Man toys, but that's another story.
Come on, like you didn't love the Night Monkey.
That was hysterical. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much in this that I could actually. The only way to go after this movie is by being incredibly nitpicky and going after the Marvel Universe timeline. And even then, that feels kind of cheap because the movie was done so well.
So,
I go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was going to say, so that's the perfect segue into. Was there anything you didn't like about the movie?
I don't know. I mean, there's nothing that I overtly did not like.
I don't know how I feel about the first post-credit sequence. Like, I liked it to the very end, mainly because I'm not crazy about the idea, the Civil War idea of everybody knowing that Peter is Spider-Man. I love how they got there. I thought that was really cool. I love that J.K. Simmons, I almost said Rowling, is back to play, because he is J. Jonah Jameson. And the fact that they didn't reinvent the wheel on that, bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
I mean, you could have had them saying, "Oh, well, we wanted to find a new actor for the next 10 years and blah blah blah." But J.K. Simmons is he's like lightning in a bottle. He's like casting for Tony Stark. There's nobody else that could play that character.
No, and I like too. It wasn't the same J. Jonah Jameson. They basically reinvented him as Alex Jones. And I think that's cool. But again, I'm not saying I hate it. But I'm not crazy about the idea of the secret being out of the bottle because like Marvel had to go to such stupid lengths to put it back. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
You don't want to see One More Day in a movie form?
No.
No one does.
I do not want to see that.
I believe, I could be wrong, I believe they're going to play up the angle of, well, you can't trust the source thing, and there's going to be a debate on, is it real or not?
Well, and they've got some this really cool Tony Stark tech that does, hard light holograms now. Uh-huh. So you could easily have, Peter Parker standing in the street with Spider-Man flying over him and, looking up and going, "Hey, so I'm supposed to be him, huh?"
Well, you could do a million ways. You could have Doctor Strange cast a simple little,
glamour or something.
Yeah.
So there's a million ways to do it, but then again, I like the fact that they took that step because one of the big jokes of the last two Spider-Man reboots was he's always taking off his damn mask, and it's like each movie, more and more people found out he was Spider-Man. Like with Sam Raimi on the train, like you got an entire car full of people that have seen his face. There's no way that none of them took money to tell who he was.
But none of them wanted. But here's my argument: none of them would have known who Peter Parker was anyway. If you see some random dude in the street, you're not going to be like that's that joke from the Justice League Unlimited show when Lex Luthor and Flash switch brains and Flash find out the secret identity of Flash. And he pulls off the mask. I have no idea who this is. Greatest line in the show. But I feel like it's the same thing.
But you'd have a mugshot. Which would then make it easy to find the person. But in this one, and it also makes the character of Mysterio much more malicious because he said he had a contingency plan for everything, including if he died, that he was going to take down Spider-Man no matter what.
So I have two thoughts on this that I've heard, and I heard that's a good way they're going to try to cross Venom over it because Sony is hell bent on a Venom Spider-Man thing. But I've also heard it's a good intro to Kraven the Hunter.
Huh. That would work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm curious. Like I said, I hate the idea of everyone knowing he's Spider-Man, but Marvel rarely leads me astray, so I'm willing to kind of put off my poo-poo face until I see what they do.
Huh.
All right.
Dave, what did you hate?
Hate.
Don't ask Dave about what he hates. Are you kidding me?
Hate is such a strong word. I don't like...
or in other words, hate.
The characterization of the character of MJ.
No, they've already done MJ, and they had to do something different.
But no, if you're going to use a character, do the character right. She is not like either version of MJ. She's not the Ultimate or that 616 version. She's something completely different, and it's like, I don't like it. I don't like that character.
Well, the Marvel Universe is supposed to be a different universe than 616.
Okay, fine, but no. It was Captain America, just like Captain America in the comics, pretty much. Was Tony Stark, like Tony Stark in the comics, pretty much. So,
go ahead.
Not really. I think Tony Stark became that Robert Downey Jr. interpretation of him, but the Iron Man is not nearly as quippy. Like the pre-Stark Iron Man, not nearly as quippy or as Robert Downey like.
He was a lot more angsty, right?
Yeah, a lot more angsty. A lot more like poor man's Bruce Wayne is what I always found of Iron Man. Whereas after Robert Downey Jr. put his interpretation on the character, I think it's a better character than what Tony Stark was before. And I get where you're coming from. This MJ is different than Mary Jane. But to be fair, her name is not Mary Jane.
Right, but that's what they're trying to build. And it's like,
correct.
Fine, if you want to, but go ahead.
Well, no, the Mary Jane character, though, is so weird because she was never supposed to be what she became. And Mary Jane suffers a lot. Like, the Mary Jane character suffers big time from writers writing what they want her to be. Like, when she's introduced, everyone loved her because she was the fun girl while Gwen did all the whining. And then she becomes the love interest, and they don't like it, and they write her off to go be a supermodel. And then people say, well, that Spider-Man can't have this girlfriend, she's a supermodel. It's like, well, you guys made her that. And then they like Mary Jane is constantly the excuse that whoever's creating the book puts on of why she doesn't. And I think that hurts her character a lot because like the character shifts big time depending on who's creating her and who's writing her. The version of Mary Jane, I think, is Brian Bendis's from the Ultimate Universe because at least it's consistent. Like at least it's a consistent voice. The Mary Jane that they introduced in was it Spider-Man 41, Amazing Spider-Man 41, is a very different character than what she is now or what she was when I was a kid. Like, and that bothers me about the character is they never give her a chance, or rarely I should say, give her a chance to stand her own. Like Lois Lane is Lois Lane. Like everyone knows what Lois Lane is. Mary Jane fluctuates. So I like that they did this with her. I feel like this Michelle MJ character stands on her own. No, but if you don't like her, I get it. Like I get not liking a character. But that's my 2 cents on Mary Jane, who I like, but I still don't, after years of reading those books, still don't really know who she is.
I don't know. I mean, I always think of MJ from when I read it, mainly 80s and early 90s, so a lot of the 80s, a lot of the Tom DeFalco versions of the character,
When she was like a soap opera star and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah. So that's my Mary Jane. She's the actress, the doting wife, doing what she can to support her husband, because they were already married at that point. And
well, then what you're doing is you're making the argument for having Mary Jane the way she is in this movie, in this universe, because she doesn't have a solid identity with people, and so they had the ability to do whatever they wanted with her. Really,
I'm not making that argument. I'm saying I want the Mary Jane from the comics.
But the argument, but the thing is, what you're both saying is Mary Jane has changed all these times, which means that she does not have any kind of solid core of Mary Jane-ness.
I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as JD makes it out to be, because I think a lot of characters change with the time.
But the problem, my thing with Mary Jane is she never changes as a character. She changes to fit Peter better. Like it's never anything about her that motivates her changes. Like her life station changes are always to put Spider-Man in a different position. Like that time she blew up.
Like literally blew up, or?
Oh yeah, they killed John Byrne. John Byrne blows her ass up.
Oh, okay.
Like, because that's just what they. I mean, that's just,
she was on a plane.
But she got better, I guess, right?
Yeah. She wasn't on the plane. It was. I think that was one of those dumb Green Goblin. Like there was in the early 2000s.
They had scroll.
No. They just kept leaning on. Well, something weird happened. No, the Green Goblin did it. Yeah. Like that was a bad time in Spider-Man books.
Really bad time. Late 90s, early 2000s. Oh,
terrible.
I think they made the 616 Spider-Man horrible so more people would buy the Ultimate.
See, I think the books were bad before it all. I think Ultimate actually cleans it because those books are. Paul Jenkins had some good stuff, but I mean, like a lot of those books are hard to read, and that goes back to like the Howard Mackey stuff in the late '90s. Like, ugh. Sorry, this became a different podcast.
Yes.
Basically, Dave doesn't like the MJ character.
Yes, I don't like the MJ character for, just call her Michelle. Like, and then I would be fine with it. Just make it a completely new love interest. Okay, fine. I'm good with that. But trying to shoehorn her in as MJ is just like, no.
What did you think of the Ned Leeds Betty Brant?
I thought that was such a fun way to handle that whole situation.
I love it. It's so teenager, too. Like, I thought that was perfect.
You mean the intro?
No, their whole relationship. The relationship.
So, yeah, because they dated in the comics.
That's a big relationship in the comics. Yeah,
and then Ned Leeds in the comics becomes Hobgoblin.
Not really, but yeah.
Well, yeah. So the whole thing of, like, they dated while they were in Europe, and then it's over. It's like, oh, okay, good. They addressed it. They did it. And then they ended it. Now we don't ever have to talk about it again.
Yeah, I like that. I really did. And I thought the two, like the girl who I didn't catch her name in the movie, or her real name, but she's got a very big part in Homecoming. And I thought she did such a fantastic job with that character in this one. Like, I was shocked how good the chemistry was between those two side characters. That is like the definition of a fun little side character thing. I absolutely adored that part.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool. I still don't understand. Again, like, obviously he's not Ned. He's, what's the character's name?
Genki.
He's obviously Genki. Like, why they made him Ned is beyond me. Because it's not like they were friends in high school in the comics. Why he couldn't have been Genki, I don't get it. But
probably because that's Miles' guy. Because Genki is, they kind of have Genki in Spider-Verse. Like, that's Miles' roommate. He's not as heavy set as Genki is, but yeah.
I don't know who Genki is, and just for the audience, Betty Brant is played by Angourie Rice.
Her name is Angourie Rice?
Angourie Rice?
Angourie. Angourie Rice.
I have to look this up, too.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. That's why you have me on here. And then Ned Leeds is played by Jacob Batalon.
He's great.
And MJ is played by Happy Broccoli. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Yeah. And May Parker is played by Marissa Tomei, but I don't have to tell any male person that because they already know.
Okay, so can I just say, Jon Favreau was the best part of this movie.
He's got
hands down.
Yeah, he's so much more talent. He's so talented, and I don't think he ever quite made it really as what he could have been as an actor, which is fine. He's a fantastic director, but this movie really reminds you of how endearing Jon Favreau is.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole sequence on the plane where he's telling Peter, "Don't worry about being good enough or being the next Iron Man. Tony picked you because you were special. Blah blah blah." And then when he starts working on the suit, Peter starts working on the suit, and it's like it's like I got my surrogate.
Yeah, he looks back and you almost think he's going to start crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got my surrogate Tony. I mean,
the world just righted itself.
Yeah, and it's so cool too how you see how happy Mrs. Tony and how these two guys are mourning. Like, this movie is really the Iron Man epitaph, and we all kind of needed it too after the abrupt death in Avengers Endgame. Like that whole side story works fantastic on so many levels.
So, Happy and Aunt May, yay or nay?
I'll go with the yay.
In the animation, they had a younger Aunt May, and she actually dated Agent Coulson for a bit.
Yeah.
So I can see it work. I can see this working.
The timeline of Peter having a 90-year-old aunt never made sense to me.
Yeah.
So this, I always had to write it off as it was his great aunt, and every time Marvel tried to make it his actual aunt, it never clicked with me. Like, Marissa Tomei she's Marissa Tomei. She's great. And I think this has really helped revitalize her career, being Aunt May, which is a weird thing to say, but it has.
Yeah, I mean, she is in her 50s. Let's not forget that.
It's no
But that's the right age to have a niece or to have a nephew who's a teenager.
Right.
Yep.
Agreed. So yeah, I think we should get Uncle Happy.
Oh, you stretch for that one, and that sucks. No, 2 demerits. Sorry.
No.
5 points from 5 points from Ravenclaw.
Uncle Happy.
Definitely Ravenclaw.
All right. So now I'm going to bring up what somebody posted on the internet, and I want your take on this because I've been thinking about it and I've been racking my brain ever since this was posted. So we'll get into the Nick Fury thing after this because first this is more important. So Nick Fury has these special glasses for Edith, which brilliant name by the way. Even in death, I'm the hero.
Yeah, of course. It's
so Tony Stark. Yeah.
These special glasses that control Edith that were specifically for Peter, for him to give to Peter, right? Tony gave them to him to give to Peter.
Yeah.
When the fuck did he see him to give him the glasses to give to Peter?
Prior to snappage.
But when? Prior to the snappage. When was the last time?
Oh, he probably had. That was probably one of his contingency plans when he realized that they were going to go into this final battle.
When did our good friend go into hiding?
Nick Fury?
Yeah, Nick Fury. Remember, he went into hiding after certain events of a particular movie.
But it wasn't Nick Fury.
That's not the point.
Yeah, it
after Winter Soldier, he fakes his death and goes into hiding. He fakes his death in Winter Soldier, and he says, "I'm going to remain dead."
That's plot hole.
So, when on earth did he make these? Did Tony make this stuff and then give these glasses to give to Peter upon his possible death?
He probably knew where Fury was when the whole Infinity War thing started, and he knew that his death was a possibility.
Well, yeah, because at the end of Infinity War, he's not hiding anymore.
When did
He's with Maria. Back operating.
Oh, that's right. Because all right. Okay.
Stop trying to destroy our childhood.
Listen, shut up. Because that's the other thing. During Infinity War, Tony isn't on Earth that long before he gets onto the spaceship and goes off to the other planet.
But he probably.
Let's assume he develops it at some point after Homecoming. After Homecoming. Because Nick Fury's back on the table at that point, and he gives them to him then, and then Nick Fury gives them to a Skrull for reasons.
All right, okay. I mean, we'll say that. It just seemed it felt like a plot hole after I read it, and I'm like, oh,
there are much larger plot holes about how old Parker is.
Yes, there's actually much larger plot holes of. Wait a minute. All of his friends got flipped?
Everyone but the one.
Everyone but the one. Like, really?
I do like how no one really quite trusts the super hot, good-looking kid who was 12 and now he's super great-looking.
Yeah.
And, the guys are like, I don't trust it. But I do find it very interesting that all the characters that mattered, that's going to be, the 5 years thing is going to be weird. I credit them for trying to make something that stick, but it's going to be a weird thing. It's going to be one of those continuity things that comic book fans have to just kind of acknowledge is there, but kind of ignore at the same time.
Kind of like Netflix ignored the what happened in the MCU.
Let me tell you about a thing called Heroes Reborn.
Oh, no. The retcon that ruins the story. Okay.
So now the next thing is, was it just me, or was it very obvious there was something wrong with Nick Fury through that entire movie?
Oh no, I had somebody at work who hadn't stayed for the after credit scene, and when he started talking to me this morning about it, one of the first things he said was, it doesn't make any sense. Nick Fury shouldn't have been that stupid. It just threw the whole movie off for me. And of course we're all sitting there going, yeah, man, he shouldn't be that stupid. And he was a Skrull.
Yeah, I love the way of writing around plot-induced stupidity. They get bonus points for being creative in plot-induced stupidity.
Yes.
Bravo, yeah. Good sirs.
That was a stroke of genius right there. I'm sure when when they thought of that, they were sitting there. They probably had a party at that point because, like, wow.
I mean, it totally worked too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those things when, like when he was asking about the other heroes, and he said Captain Marvel, and it's like, you know, don't say her name. And it was just like, why the freak would he react like that? You know, like that makes no sense. It makes sense for the Skrulls to react like that.
It totally does.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make sense.
Oh my God, I didn't catch that till now.
But it doesn't make sense for Nick Fury to react like that. It's like, huh?
And that's what's cool about Jackson is now we have a third version of Nick Fury character that he's played.
Right.
The Captain Marvel version is clearly different than the Head and Shield version, and then we get this Skrull version that's just enough. Much better than I think people give him credit for. He's more than just a place to say the affordable.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely getting to stretch his acting ability at this point because he's showing us his chops, which he's always had. He's not just a single word and snakes on a plane.
He's much more than the guy who robs the restaurant in Coming to America.
McDowell's.
No.
See, they're McDonald's. We're McDowell's. They got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. Both have 12 beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions. Their buns have sesame seeds. My buns have no seeds. I love that movie.
Obviously.
I absolutely love that movie.
Apparently.
It's the greatest comedy ever.
So, does that bring us to the after movie scenes?
Well, we're here. We've been talking about them. I mean, like, let's go with the second one first because we're kind of in that right now. What does this lead to? And this is what Dave and I were DMing on Slack about this.
You were running a Dungeons and Dragons game without me?
Oh my God.
DMing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm just not nerdy enough when we talk about the Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Right,
you lose me.
Okay. So here's the thing. I have heard that there are three possibilities now. There's Alpha Flight, there's Sword, and then there's was it Secret Invasion?
I think
Alpha Flight I haven't heard.
Yeah, Alpha Flight I haven't heard either. Because I have no idea how space stuff fits to Alpha Flight. Sword,
I thought that was okay.
I think that base is going to be their version of Sword. It's going to be a shield base in outer space to defend the Earth from invasion, possible incoming invasion. However, the invasion isn't going to come from outer space because it's already here. And that's going to be the secret invasion. Because there is a scene where fake Maria Hill and fake Nick Fury are walking down the street, and they're talking about Skrull sleeper cells that are already here. So I think that was a hint to possibly put that out there.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Actually, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this movie again because it seems like they've packed a whole bunch of little hints into this. Like they're getting really good at throwing these hints in now without like it having a big sign pointing to it saying hint. You know, you really have to listen at this point.
But my son did ask the question: how can they do Secret Invasion when they made Skrulls good guys?
Well, not all Skrulls are good guys.
Yeah, and that would be the sleeper cells, right? I mean,
I would imagine, yeah.
But then, like you said, there's also Sword, which would be pretty good. And I don't think can you do Secret Invasion without Sword?
Oh yeah.
No, I think you could, but I think they work better together.
Yes.
But yeah. What would be like? Okay, so we just finished three whole phases, right? And our payoff was a huge 2-part movie battle with Thanos and the Infinity Stones. How do you follow that up with just Secret Invasion?
You find out that the Black Widow who died on that planet, sacrifice, was actually a Skrull.
That's a good one.
Oh, that would be sick. Oh my God, that opens up all these possibilities for the Black Widow movie.
It really does. Like, there's a lot you can do with the Secret, because you can do the same way Marvel built it up as, like, who's really a Skrull?
Except except that we know that her contract is up, right?
But I mean, like, what? Yeah, do we? What do we know? We don't know anything. We don't even know if Chris Evans' contract is really up. He's still alive. He could be brought back into play. You know, like a secret invasion movie. Like, what bugged me about Secret that it wasn't Invasion of the Body Snatchers, when I felt like that was how they sold it to us.
Yeah.
It was much more of a religious zealot story than I was prepared to read. Not that it was bad, it just wasn't what I was expecting. But if they steer hard into that skid and like make it a real who do you trust movie, like there's so much stuff you can do with that, and you could stretch it out for several films.
Right, but doesn't that? I mean, it still feels like that is on the scope of another Civil War, but not like an end to another 3 phases. Unless this is just the like they're teeing up a bunch of plots for the next 3 phases of movies, and then at the end of the 3rd phase we'll look at Galactus.
I don't think they think that far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I disagree. I do think. They've got to be at this point phases ahead, and I think because their continuity web is almost as big and bold as the comics right now. So I do think that they need a big thing, and they've introduced us to Skrulls and thrown us the curveball. I think that they can make this work and stretch it out over a few movies.
But it still feels like that the big payoff at the end of this arc would be something like Galactus, especially since now that they have the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and all that.
Well, it could be. You could still, end with Galactus. The thing is, they haven't even talked about how they're introducing them yet. I mean, maybe we'll find out in a couple of weeks when San Diego happens, but they haven't even discussed any of that yet.
Publicly.
Right. But, they could do a couple films where the Skrulls pop up here and there, In fact, that is something I think you get a much better slow burn with.
Yeah.
Because in the next movie, you just all of a sudden, in one scene, somebody becomes a Skrull. And it's like, what's going on?
Right. Just like they did in the comics. Like, that was a really cool moment in the comics when Elektra turns into a Skrull.
Right.
And I think you can mimic something like that. And like I said, Black Widow, that's a great idea, Dave. I think that's a stroke of genius to have made that one a Skrull or have her come back. There's a million things you can do.
But if she was a Skrull, see, there's the thing. If she were a Skrull, she would have let the other guy die.
Not necessarily.
How long has she been a Skrull? She could be a bleep. She could be bought in. Yeah.
The whole point of Secret Invasion was they were embodied as these people for so long. They began believing they were those people. They were thinking like them. Right.
Yeah, and that's what can make this really freaking cool.
That's why but that's why Elektra was fighting the Hand. Mm-hmm. She could have just let the Hand kill everyone if she was just a Skrull on a Secret Invasion, but she
was Elektra.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool too is that you can do the Illuminati or some Marvel version of the Illuminati, like the secret council that gets together to plot to stop the threats that no one else is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though we have Tony's dead, they could find someone to fill that role. Like, I don't know, man. The more I'm thinking about that, the more Phase 4 really excites me. Because, this movie does leave a lot of possibilities on the table.
Well, I'm remembering something I wanted to mention. Or I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but we don't need Tony Stark anymore because now we have Richard Reed.
Reed Richards?
Reed Richards, yeah, whatever. I'm the DC guy. I can mispronounce it. It's still it's still what, 2 R's.
I'm still holding out hope that Reed Richards they bring in is actually from the 60s or something like that.
Why?
And because the Fantastic Four, because that's the Fantastic Four, the best version of them was the Kirby version. The Fantastic Four aren't superheroes; they're adventurers. Like, the Fantastic Four are just a souped-up version of the Challenge of the Unknown from a DC friend. Like, that's all the FF are. And if they travel into our time, it works better, I think, with the dynamic. Like, even the comics, the Kirby comics are the best. Like, I think that there's something about that Cold War aspect of the FF that makes it work. And if they come in to our universe, to our world from the past or something like that, it could really set them apart and maybe something cool.
So they'll find them in the ice next to where they found Cap.
Or you have a middle-aged Cap who meets the Fantastic Four in the 60s.
Totally, you totally do that. Like, that's what's cool about them getting all their properties back. Is there's a million options we can do. The X-Men are going to be really hard to write into this. And where the hell are these mutants been?
And Reed Richards. Oh, wait a minute. So remember the argument that when you go back and change the past, you're creating an alternate timeline, and so the Cap who went to the past to live out his life is actually in an alternate timeline. How did he get back to give the shield? Reed Richards helped him figure it out.
That is a great way to figure that out. And you know who, if Reed Richards is doing time travel, do you know who else we could work in? Is Kang the Conqueror.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
See, Kevin Feige has the greatest job in the world. He just gets to sit and, like, come up with this stuff all day.
All right. Kevin, if you're listening to this episode,
which you're not,
we would love, like, you don't even have to, like, you can take these ideas. We just want a job with you. I need a job right now, so let me work with you for a little while.
We'll take half pennies as our pay for this. Like a half penny off of each.
Screw that. I'm a professional. Pay me what I'm worth.
Exactly.
You want scale, I guess. Okay.
No, not to act. I just want a nice writer's check. Like, yes. Yeah, the minimum. Some royalties.
Yep. All right. I think we figured out Phase 4, guys.
I'm excited now for that Marvel, San Diego Comic-Con announcement that Marvel's doing. Like, having just got to play Fantasy Booker and read that, like, I'm really pumped up to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, me too. So, what was the other credit scene we talked about, right?
Yeah, with J.K. Simmons and yeah, we talked about that one.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that, I guess, except for oh my God, Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
So does anyone else realize that the red and black is a nod to Steve Ditko?
Yeah, that's the Ditko Spidey.
Yes. So I mean, so many people don't realize that his colors were supposed to be red and black, but you shade black with blue in the comics.
Same with Batman.
Yep.
Batman's never supposed to be blue, but like you shade in the comics and you get another generation of people working on it, and all of a sudden what was black is now blue.
Yep. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I love the nod, and then of course they had it was dedicated to both of them at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
They both passed this year.
Yep.
So it works. Like, yeah, man. I mean, this was good. I don't know if it's better than Homecoming, but I really liked it.
Well, the fact that it's yet another Marvel sequel movie, they're all technically sequels, but another sequel series that is just as good, at least, as the first one.
I think with Homecoming, I didn't see the twist coming of the Vulture being the father, right? Like, that shocked me, and I really liked that twist in the movie, and then it was really well done at that point. I kind of felt like as soon as Peter walked out of the bar, here comes the reveal that he's really a bad guy.
Well, we knew it. You knew he was going to be a bad guy. It's Mysterio. Like, they didn't try to create another hero and turn him into Mysterio. The second they announced Gyllenhaal's playing Mysterio, you know he's the bad guy.
Right.
So yeah, we're all, like, anyone who knows even the slightest thing about comics is waiting for that other shoe to drop the entire time. And I think it still works. It happens early enough in the story where I don't feel like I was cheapened or anything. I don't feel anything was cheap.
No, I don't think it was cheap. I just felt like I saw it coming a mile away. That's all.
I think you should. I think you see it coming. But and I agree with that. But I think what makes it cool is how they do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what makes it. Because, yeah, totally. You see it's like if Dr. Octopus was going to be the hero in this one, with him, working with him, we're like, well, he's going to turn on him. Of course he's going to turn on him. But the execution worked really well.
No, I'm not going to argue with that.
And Jake Gyllenhaal was pretty good in this.
He was. I don't like that they killed him. I really didn't. I didn't think they were going to kill him.
Did they?
That's right. Well, even Peter sat there, asked, his glasses, is this real? It said it was real, but he had controlled the technology for a while. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so many questions with this one. It's perfect. Like, Mysterio is the perfect character to do that. Is he dead? I'm not sure. Which is great. It's part of the charm of that character. And I'm not a big Mysterio of the comics fan. Like, I don't think anybody can tell you the greatest Mysterio story of all time. But right. I think that they really did a good job with, quite frankly, a B-level Spider-Man.
Well, once again, I mean, they did the same with Vulture. Everybody's like, oh, it's Vulture. Blah, blah, blah. And then they get to that car scene where he's talking, and you're like, holy crap, now I'm scared.
It's the best. That might be the best scene in any Marvel movie. Like, just as far as acting. Like, it's just two actors, having a moment. Like, that is such a great scene. We didn't quite get anything that intense in this movie, but that's okay.
I mean, all right.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm all in on that.
You got a lot of hero talks between him and Mysterio.
What I liked about that too is he was definitely like playing on Peter's sensitivities, of like in his mourning of the losing of Tony Stark, like, and he's looking to Mysterio as being the next Iron Man, and he's totally playing into that. Like, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays him so earnest and sincere in the first like half of that movie.
Yeah, and if you weren't like us and you didn't know that Mysterio was a bad guy, you would have thought he was a good guy up until that reveal.
Right, and I think that's why it works on two different levels. I think for us, we're like, oh yeah, he's a villain. But if you go into that movie cold and just watch the movies, it works as a pretty good twist. Nerds like us see it coming, but we're nerds.
There was none of that second-rate movie thing where they have the guy, turn to walk away and with a smile on his face that makes you know. Mm-hmm. They played it straight right up until the reveal that, oh no, he's a good guy. Yeah.
The people at the ship that you show the dog, they'll think it was the dog.
Yeah.
So speaking of Peter and his sensitivity, why couldn't they say spider sense?
I think they're making a joke about it, and it's a good gag.
I do enjoy so he didn't really seem to have spider sense in Homecoming. They showed it in Infinity War with the hair standing up, aliens show up, and then this Mysterio is the perfect villain to explore spider sense with.
I'll agree.
And him learning to trust his spider sense, which again is what makes it a good Mysterio story. Is Peter learning and growing from it.
Not even just learning, but having to do it to survive.
Yeah. I couldn't help but watching those scenes thinking to myself, man, this is what a Scarecrow movie should be.
Oh, yes.
So do you think going forward, they'll start more with the, it's really hard to hit Peter because of his spider sense?
He should. He dodged a bullet in this one at point blank range. I mean...
What I like too about this is in the Tobey Maguire one, the powers all just hit him at once. And I like this. I think this is more of a metaphor for puberty, where the changes creep in slowly. You pick up a little something more here and there.
Right.
So I liked it. I liked the whole thing. I liked everything about the Peter Tingle. Made me happy.
Sorry, it still makes me.
Me too. I'm that immature.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's spider sense, damn it. See, and I thought when he was working on the stuff there, I thought he was going to come up with spider tracers, but maybe in the next movie.
Maybe. But he didn't have much. He didn't have much reason to use anything like that.
Opportunity to create them.
Yeah.
Well, he might have put them in the suit already. It's just that there was no real need to use them because they, there was no plot point where he had to use a tracer.
True. All right. Who do you think should be the next villain? Kraven?
Wasn't there like a Mustard Man or something? I don't know. Or was a Batman movie? I don't know.
What
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you lost me on this one.
No. They could literally pick anybody at this point, and they would write a good story around it. I mean, Kraven, I think, after listening to you guys, sounds like the obvious choice. He's technically a third stringer, but big enough that they could definitely do a whole movie around him. But I don't know,
It's got to be dark. Got to be a little dark if you're going to bring, because the best Kraven is a little dark with him. There's not a lot of fun to the Kraven character.
He's a tragic character, right?
Not really. He turns himself into a tragic character because he's a giant failure. Like Kraven's Last Hunt, I don't think anyone will argue me is the greatest Spider-Man story ever written. Because you can't go to that well too often. Like, it almost reads like a Batman story. And you can't keep doing that to Spider-Man. Otherwise you wind up in the early 90s. But I think for the purposes of this one, I think the movies have been a little, not lighthearted, but fun action. I think if you bring a Kraven character in, it gets a little bit darker. And I think the series could benefit from that at this point.
Okay. Well, if it's not Kraven, then I think it's time to bring back Doc Ock.
Like I said, they could do anybody. They could.
He was a former Stark employee who. Oh wait,
we just did that. Yeah, because they just did that. I don't, and we just had a Doc Ock in Spider-Verse. I don't want to see a Doc Ock. I have a soft spot for the Green Goblin, but they goblin the hell out of the last two franchises. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah.
If they work Venom into this, they could do Carnage.
Well, they're going to. Like that's what Venom. Did you see all of Venom? How much of Venom did you see? Did you see the Venom post credit?
I saw. Did I see a post credit? I don't know. I was watching it. It's like
Carnage. Woody Harrelson is Carnage
in a really bad wig.
Yeah, really bad wig.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Maybe okay, scratch that. I don't want to see that. I don't know. Why Woody Harrelson for crying out loud?
I have no idea. It makes no sense at all.
Remember the McConaissance? They're going like a Harrelson sounds.
Nah, it doesn't work.
Damn it.
Nobody wants that.
He's a good actor, actually. If you see the stuff he's done, like True Detective, for example. And he was pretty good in the Hunger Games movies. Or at least the first one.
How about Hammerhead?
See, I immediately say, no, that's stupid, but they'll come up with something cool. Because they're good. So, yeah, sure, why not? Tombstone. Like, go through something.
Tombstone's not bad, though.
Big wheel.
Okay, now you've gone too far. You might as well. So the Rocket Racer next.
Oh, Rocket Racer and Big Wheel team up against Spider-Man.
Yeah, now we've lost it.
I mean, Stiltman, Living Brain, Carrion, Black Tarantula.
Clarion can be cool, especially in the zombie world that we live in. You could do Carrion. Okay, here's the real question. When are they going to stop being cowards and try to tackle the Clone Saga?
Oh God. Why would you bring Star Wars into this?
Here's the thing. The Clone Saga has some awful execution, but some really good ideas. Kane is an awesome character.
And it'll give you two more.
Give birth to himself.
It'll give you two more Spider-Man action figures to sell. Kane and Scarlet Spider.
And Scarlet Spider. You know what? And Bendis did a better job in the Ultimate Universe of his Clone Saga. So there is precedence for it. I think at some point they should give us the Clone Saga. I'm going to start that online. I'm going to whip up something in Photoshop and float it around and see how long it takes to go viral.
Well, taking into account that they actually have, the properties for X-Men back, they could also do Juggernaut.
Oh, nothing stopped Juggernaut?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a better TV show episode than it would be like a full movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's only 2 issues long, and there isn't much story to it. That whole story is Peter Parker gets to take an ass whooping, and you got to bring in Madam Web,
and then you've got a crossover between Marvel and the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, I think they're realistically speaking, I think they're going to try that. I think that it's not obscene to think that they're going to try to work Venom in because Spider-Man is a menace, which is fine. We needed that.
I'm not just talking Venom. I'm talking about the animation, movie. But yeah, if they work Venom in, they got to get rid of Woody Harrelson. Just pretend nobody saw the end credits scene.
We can do that. I've seen that, and after credit scenes get ignored before.
Or if they want to go the undead route, they could do Morbius.
I think they're doing a Morbius movie right now. Didn't they just cast, for real, didn't they cast Jared Leto as Morbius? Did I dream that? It's a real thing, right?
The Morbius movie? No, that's a real thing coming.
Yeah, okay. It shouldn't be, by the way. But
it shouldn't or it should?
Should not. No, we don't need a Morbius movie.
Jared Leto, why are we having, was it Morbius Joker? I mean...
Isn't,
Dude, Morbius period is unnecessary. Let's be real.
Who's playing Morbius?
It's Jared Leto, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Let's hope that never... God, me again.
Oh, God.
Please don't let Jared Leto be Morbius.
I don't ask for much. When I do, it's really important.
I kind of do, but I'm going to go back to this well. So, nobody needs this.
So is this...
What if God says it's that, or you win the lottery?
Is this a Marvel?
I've had a good run.
Is this official Marvel?
What's that?
Is this official Marvel movie?
It's a Sony movie.
No, it's a Sony. It's Sony. Okay. Sony strip mining the Spider-Man property. The Spider-Man property.
How much longer do they have the licenses for these guys?
Perpetuity.
As long as they
keep making movies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, I mean, like, Fox and Sony saved Marvel in the late 90s. Like, they made some Faustian packs, which, so the Fox one actually wound up okay. But, like, that Sony one, that ain't going nowhere.
No.
At least they're working together.
Well, they had to because Sony was like, "Hey, we're going to reboot this a third time." Oh wait, there's no more money left. Marvel took it all. They had to. There's no way. Even in the darkest hearts of a studio executive, they had to see that if they didn't partner with Marvel, they would not be making as much money.
I'm curious.
What?
When does Captain America Civil War come out? 2016. So they shot that movie in 2015. So Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out in 2014. So it doesn't take them long to figure out that they're bankrupt as far as Spider-Man deals go.
Yeah.
So that's intriguing to me.
Because they were trying to force feed us a Sinister Six movie.
Trying? I think they still are.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Now they want to do Sinister Six without Spider-Man. That makes a lot of sense.
In Negative Universe, yeah. Mr. Negative. There you go. There's another one.
Because that's the road that Sam Raimi was going down. Eventually he wanted to make 6 movies, and it was going to end with a Sinister Six movie. And, because of the creative differences, they parted ways, and it didn't happen. And basically, they started the Amazing Spider-Man series, and they had no idea what they were doing with the character. They had no good ideas. They basically took the script that Raimi had started for Spider-Man 4 and turned it into the first one.
Yeah.
And then they gave us the death of Gwen Stacy in a very weird way. And, yeah.
Actually, I liked it again with the death of Gwen Stacy. It was gutsy. I wish the movie was better and made that moment resonate a little bit more. But I give them credit for trying. Jamie Foxx's Electro was just horrible.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a good actor, but he was a bad choice for that.
He was bad. I don't know if he's a bad choice for the movie. I think the character was bad because they just gave him rehashed Jim Carrey out of Batman Forever.
That's true.
It could have been. He's a good actor, but an actor can only do so much when you're given a shit sandwich to work with.
Did Joel Schumacher have something to do with that movie?
No, that was Mark Webb, I believe. I did the first one. I don't hate the first one. I don't dislike Amazing Spider-Man. It's not nearly as good as Homecoming, but I don't hate it.
Cool. All right. So, do we have anything else that we would like to discuss about this movie?
I love Spider-Man.
Besides our overall love for Spider-Man, I'm trying to think. There isn't really. It was a good movie. It was, like I said, I liked it. I really liked the special effects and how they handled the scenes with Mysterio's in the fights. I like it when I can't see the twists coming. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's no way you're going to do that now when they're introducing a main villain. But the way they did it was about the best as they expected.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So let's go around. I know you don't like to give numbers, JD, but let's give our final thoughts and a ranking. 1 out of 10.
Madam Web would talk about the Great Web and how we were all connected to the Great Web of the universe.
This is going to be bad, isn't it? Go ahead.
No, yes, I'm on a tangent. This movie is merely another string on the Great Web of Marvel films, and I really like this movie. These movies make me feel different than the other Marvel movies do, and that's the cool part about these films is that they all hit you in a different spot with the same kind of it's John Hughes with superheroes, and it's a little nerdier, a little less. The John Hughes movies, some of them don't age very well, but that feeling is still there, and it's a little bit more innocent. It's a little bit more fun, and it hits me right where a Spider-Man movie should, man. This movie holds a high place in the Great Web.
It hits you right in the webbing?
Right in the web, right in the little pus sacks that shoot the webs out.
It gives you a Peter tingle?
It does give me a strong Peter tingle. 8.5 webs.
All right. How about you, Mr. O'Grady?
9.
Oh, wow.
Coming from behind at the last minute. 1 extra half heart. Okay, so, I agree. This movie represents so many different things. It's the love letter to Tony Stark, the the movie that gives us the room to breathe and to mourn. It's a great sequel to Homecoming. It's a very nice, maybe initial setup of what's coming next for the next, phase or phases. And I don't, there's just, it was put together so well that you have to be a really, really nitpicky, nerd, Dave, to go after it at all. So, I'm gonna give it 9 cheeseburgers.
Now I want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Oh my.
No, seriously, it was near perfect. I just, and I'd watch it again. It's yet another Marvel movie that I would sit down and watch again.
All right. This is definitely the coda on the end of Phase 3. It is actually, not only is it a love letter to Tony Stark and Iron Man, I also kind of think it's, we didn't really talk about this theme, but this is the main theme of the movie, is it's about Peter thinking he's not good enough to be Iron Man, but the point is, he isn't good enough to be Iron Man, he's Spider-Man, and that's why he's got to use the Peter Tingle to defeat Mysterio at the end.
You really hung up on that, Dave.
Oh,
that makes us worry.
Saying Peter Tingle is fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I think Jon Favreau deserves a nod.
Yes,
for this movie. He's quickly become my favorite character in the MCU from this. Spider-Man's still number 1, but he's a quick second, I think. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you've listened this far, I don't know what's wrong with you. But definitely go see this movie. I am going to, I can't give it a 9, I just can't, because I don't like MJ. So I'm gonna go with JD's initial score of an 8.5.
That is a horrible reason to give it an 8.5.
No, it's not. It's a great reason to give it an 8.5. So I guess the overall consensus is it's good. It is definitely a great way to round out Phase 3, and we cannot wait to see what's going to happen for Phase 4. Maybe they'll bring Black Widow back sometime.
That would be cool.
That's all we really want, guys. Screw everything else. All right. Well, if no one has anything else to add, I think that's a good place to put a pin in it this week. So, as always, boys and girls, thanks for listening. Don't let your cape be caught in the door. Have a good week.